the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely.
You are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show. Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president will...
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here on the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
And we want to welcome everybody here to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. And allow my co-host to explain what you've stumbled upon here on the airwaves, ladies and gentlemen, because it's been a long night and I am tired. A little drunk, but a little tired.
We are bringing you the perspectives of two college-age millennial conservative libertarians out of liberal hellhole Brooklyn, New York. We were committed to defending the principles of free markets, liberty, individualism, and all that good stuff you like to hear over here on Conservative Talk Radio. We hold no punches here. Is that right, Vito?
That is correct.
Good answer.
Vito, I'm tired. We're here to cover the debate.
That's right, because you can't stay up past 9 o'clock. Good thing the show usually airs at 8 on Thursdays, so you don't get too tired to do the show.
Yeah, I've been a little tired here, but man, it's been a tough debate, Vito. It's been a good debate, though. I got to give it to Ted Cruz, man. He's just a dynamite debater.
Absolutely. He's a master debater.
You're good.
Thank you.
There's the dirty jokes that we're talking about, that anti-political correctness, that filthy, dirty college humor that we love. A priest and a rabbi walk into a bar. I'll stop now. Go ahead. Go ahead, Vito. Break it down for us, man, because it's been a hell of a debate, has it not?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, let's just dive into it. I think Ted Cruz took this one.
You know what? I'm going to call it too, but a close second is the Donald. Who's growing on me, and then he's not growing on me. It's always back and forth. It's a love-hate relationship with Donald Trump. But man, oh man, he was a good close second for this debate. Because the way he and Cruz went at it, I gotta say it was clean. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't filthy. It wasn't personal. It was just, here's some problems that we have with you as a candidate, and here are some of my problems that I'm going to address to the world, and now give me an answer. So I'm not going to hold anybody in a way accountable or something like that. Listen, Vito, it was a great debate.
It was. I'll just hold Trump too. I mean, can you go after Cruz with something else besides where he was born?
Yeah, we're going to break that down in just a second. The citizenship nonsense, this Goldman Sachs nonsense.
That's a liberal move what Trump is doing. I don't like that.
Yeah, well, but I got to say, I thought it was an interesting back and forth, was it not?
I'd say so.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's definitely entertaining, to say the least.
I thought it was. I thought it was a good back and forth. I mean, I thought that the rumble in the jungle, if we want to call South Carolina a jungle, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was interesting. I thought you had two guys who had sincere beliefs battle it out. And for the most part, my favorite part of the entire debate has to be when Ted Cruz turns around to Donald Trump and offers him the vice presidency. I think it's absolutely fantastic out there, like the Ted Cruz action that we want to see from him, and I thought that was great. I don't know. What do you think? Because I got to say, you think Cruz won, but what do you think of Trump? I mean, everyone wants to know what Trump's going to do. He's the leader in all the polls, basically, except for a few. So give it to me, Vito. Give it to me straight. Do you think that Donald Trump was a good second place, or was Donald Trump lacking something, lacking substance, lacking argumentative arguments? What? I repeated myself. It's been a long night. Explain this to me, Vito. What was Donald Trump's thing? Did he win? Did he lose? Was he good? Was he bad? What was the Donald tonight?
I would definitely say Trump was a good second. I don't think he did that bad, but the only thing that bothered me the most with Donald Trump is honestly when he was bringing up where Ted Cruz was born. This is something the left has done. He's gone after Cruz, and this has been debunked time and time again that Ted Cruz is eligible to run. And Ted Cruz made a great point when he went back and said, if you're going to go off the same standards that you're holding me to, then Marco Rubio can't run, and neither can Donald Trump because his mother was born in Scotland. So here's the thing. So they're going back and forth a little bit like that, but I think Ted Cruz held his own. But this is something that you see the leftist media do a lot, what Donald Trump did. Bring up that he's not born here. Right. Well, this has already been taken care of, but this is not an issue. This is not for Donald Trump to determine. Okay, this is for the courts, the Constitution. This has been gone over. Ted Cruz is good to go because we have other presidents in the past who was born either in Canada or even in Mexico. Right, the same situation as Ted, but they can become president.
Well, we have presidential candidates like George Romney, who was born in Mexico. We had Barry Goldwater back in '64, was born in the Arizona territory. John McCain, born in Panama. So you had candidates who weren't born on American soil run for president, and there was no problem. I mean, you mean to tell, if you're Donald Trump, and here's one of the issues I have with tonight's performance, and then all those people who claim that Ted Cruz is not a natural-born citizen, I want to break this down for you. When we look at Ted Cruz, we're looking at, who makes up immigration law in this country? The United States Congress. That's an enumerated power in the Constitution in Article 1. I want to get one thing clear. What defines a natural-born citizen? The Congress. So I want to make this very clear as to what a natural-born citizen is. The Congress explicitly states you have to hold, or someone who has citizenship. When you're born with citizenship, that's the founders' intent. You have to be born with citizenship. They wanted to make sure your allegiance was towards the United States. The Congress has defined that if you have one parent that holds American citizenship, you could be basically born anywhere, but you are then born with, if one of your parents, at least one of your parents has American citizenship, and you were born somewhere else, you have American citizenship. Black and white. There's no debate on that. The debate then comes into is natural born mean you have to be born on U.S. soil? And frankly, it's a pretty good argument to make. But I think it lacks substance when it comes down to it. I think when you look at the issue here, the Congress has they've already answered this question. Ted Cruz has spent his entire life arguing in front of the Supreme Court, arguing for the Constitution. You mean to tell me that all of a sudden, Ted Cruz is not in any way, shape, or form eligible? You think he messed up that bad? You think he made a mistake in trying to analyze the Constitution? You think that's what messed up Ted Cruz? You think he's that messed up? You think he's that crazy? Stupid and dumb? You don't think he knows what the Constitution is about? You don't think he knows what a natural-born citizen is? So, Vito, I find it to be like, it's like a Fugazi argument. In Brooklyn terminology, Fugazi is like fake. It's a fake, misguided argument that I don't think anybody really understands when it comes down to. Unless you have another motive behind your words, unless you're trying to say that Donald Trump is not a natural, or Ted Cruz is not a natural-born citizen because you're so devoutly in favor of Donald Trump. It's crazy talk. Obama was good enough for office in terms of eligibility. He fit the requirement. His mother was an American citizen. His father was a communist, but it's beside the point. His mother was an American citizen. Therefore, he was born with American citizenship. He was born with American citizenship. He's a natural-born American citizen. Same thing with Ted Cruz. I don't want to hear this. I just find this argument to be hogwash, and I find it to be ridiculous. And then you want to talk about people that Donald Trump is quoting.
Ted Cruz brought this up.
Yeah, Lawrence Tribe.
A leftist.
Who is an outright leftist, right. He's a leftist judicial professor, I think out of Harvard.
Mm-hmm, yep.
And his whole thing is that he's trying to blast Ted Cruz as a non-citizen because they fear him. I want to get one thing clear right now. They fear Ted Cruz. And as a result, they're going to go ahead. By the way, they fear Donald Trump too. So don't make it seem like they don't fear Donald Trump. They don't fear Rubio. They fear Cruz. They fear Trump. They fear those two guys. I just want to make that perfectly clear.
And because that you see what Donald Trump has done to anybody who's come in second place, whether it be Rubio or Carson or Jeb Bush, he goes straight after them.
He said it tonight. He said the only reason why I'm attacking Cruz is because, he's moving up. Now it's an issue. And then he brought up how Cruz had a shot when he's 4.5%, chance of winning the nomination. And for the record, I want him to get the nod, Ted Cruz. I want Ted Cruz to win. I think he can win. That's why I want him to win. That's one of the reasons why I want him to win. But I think he could win. I think he could win big. Most importantly, I love Ted Cruz and what his whole career in the Senate's been about. His whole public life has been about fighting for the Constitution. So you're right, Vito. He brought it up today. And it bothers me that Ted Cruz is undermined by Donald Trump when it comes down to this issue by liberal professors.
Donald Trump goes after Cruz like he went after Carson. Personal attacks on the character, nothing as much as policy. But when he brings up to Cruz, instead of going after his record or his policies or his conservative values and principles, what does he go after? Well, he's not born here. Well, you see what happened in Goldman Sachs and everything. And Ted Cruz has such beautiful responses to those two things. I think he knocked it straight out of the park. Absolutely. And handled everything. This is a paperwork error. He disclosed the Goldman Sachs loan publicly, but not with the FEC. But he still disclosed things. He wasn't trying to hide and be shady with things. And I just want to say, people are saying, "Oh, well, he's in bed with Goldman Sachs." Literally, if you count his wife working with Goldman Sachs,
his wife's in bed with Goldman Sachs. Nah, leave Heidi alone.
No, but
she seems like a cool broad.
Great. He's not. Listen, he didn't accept donations, right? He took out a loan. There's two different things. It's not like he's going to owe them everything. He's going to be bought by Goldman Sachs because he took out a loan for his campaign in 2012 in Texas. So there's different things. You gotta read. You gotta understand things. Okay, because I've been hearing that, especially online and social media. But you see how Donald Trump goes after Cruz now with his policies. You see that because you can't go after Cruz on his policies. Because the base one's a conservative, and you don't get more conservative right now than Ted Cruz. Marco Rubio isn't, especially immigration. We see Jeb, please. Kasich shouldn't even be up there. I don't know what the hell he's doing there.
I love it how Jeb Bush was on the far end of the stage. I like Jeb Bush sitting in the corner.
You might as well be in the stands.
That makes me happy. John Kasich too, and Rand Paul protesting tonight.
Boycotting, the little Rand rally.
Yeah, he was on Facebook. He was in New
Periscope.
York.
Yeah,
he was up in New York, and he was
back.
Yeah, he was in New York, and he was doing his own little private thing. He was answering Facebook questions, and I felt bad for him. He was all alone in there. I don't know. You think this? Let's talk about Rand Paul for a second. We'll jump back on the Cruz bandwagon because I have something to say about this Goldman Sachs nonsense that's going around about Ted Cruz. But I want to talk about Rand Paul, who's my second pick, by the way. And I am more of a libertarian than I think most of our listeners, or even, I would argue, you, Vito. I mean, Vito's a wholesome Christian conservative.
Aside from our faiths, I constitutionally, I guess you can label me, I don't know, libertarian, whatever. I follow the Constitution. Whatever it says, it goes.
Yeah, I'm pretty much.
So if you follow that and you're a libertarian, so be it. Whatever. You listen to the show long enough, you'll label us. We're on the right. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, I'll
philosophical.
I'll give you
We're
this.
philosophical and sexual.
Okay.
That's the show.
There you go.
Label me as that.
Okay, we'll do that. A brand new political party. But I want to talk about Rand Paul because he is my second choice, and I really do like Rand. I like the audit the Fed vote that he had this past week. Unfortunately, it didn't pass. Shocking. Establishment Republicans and of course, Democrats aren't going to vote for it. Surprisingly, Bernie the Socialist Sanders did. Comrade Sanders went ahead and voted for the audit the Fed bill, so I'm surprised about that. But aside from this point, Rand Paul's my second pick. Him not being on the debate stage, whether it be the kiddie table or whatever table you want to call it, and the main stage, if you're not there, you're not going to get publicity. You're not going to get publicity for your campaign. You're not going to get publicity for anything. He continues to say that his campaign is doing great, but he's doing terrible in the polls. I can't think of one state where Rand Paul is superior amongst all the other candidates. Rand Paul's a good guy. I love Rand. I really do. I do stand with Rand on a lot of issues, in particular the NSA. But when you look at Rand Paul, I find him to be, in this whole campaign season for president, I find him to be lacking substance. I find him to be, I shouldn't say substance because I agree with him on the issues. He seems to be lacking coordination in his campaign. He doesn't know where he's going. On one hand, he doesn't want to be on the kiddie table stage, and on the other hand, when he's on the main stage, he complains about his time. Listen, pal, you got to move up in the polls. You got to restructure your campaign. Otherwise, you're not going to get very far. And I find that, Vito, to be the biggest problem when it comes down to Rand Paul. And him tonight, taking himself out of the debate situation and having his own little thing up in New York makes it seem like he's a sore loser in a way.
He knows it's over.
I think so. I don't think Rand's got anything to stand on anymore.
I think he's cool because he took his little pool of libertarian friends and supporters and did a little Periscope thing, answered questions, and did a little rally. At least it was a rally. Like, people noticed he was gone. You know, like Chloe Fiorina wasn't there. Did you notice that? Aside from her, bickering and trying to answer questions. I don't think people really noticed or could care.
Mm-hmm. Well, they seem to fade out of obscurity once they go into the kiddie table. Lindsey Graham dropping out of the race too.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like this is happening.
I mean, Chris Christie dropped down, but he came back up recently.
Yeah,
he made it back. Which I don't know how, why. I mean, Kasich, other than that, he's polling pretty well in New Hampshire. I don't know why he's up there. I don't want him up there.
Well, a lot of these people are hoping to do well after the first couple of states. Kasich thinks he'll pull off an upset, at least in the top 3 in New Hampshire, and apparently he'll be the new establishment's boy toy. I don't like Kasich at all. I cringe when I hear that guy's name. He's anti-conservative. But when you look at this issue, Vito, a lot of these candidates are hoping to be swept off their feet after a couple of states. Cruz is hoping, if he doesn't finish first in Iowa, to be second, so that money comes his way, so that support comes his way. The same thing in New Hampshire. Christie is actually vying for the nomination for a win up in New Hampshire. The same thing with Kasich. The same thing with Rubio. So and Cruz. So a lot of these guys are gonna fight, and they're hoping to pick up some steam as the election goes on. For example, Ronald Reagan lost Iowa. Lost Puerto Rico, if you want to consider that noble.
Yeah, a lot of people lost Iowa,
But once he won New Hampshire, he was off. He was off big time. Look what he was able to accomplish in 1980, 1979 was the primary. So when you look at this, Vito, you got to ask yourself this question. I want to go back to Rand Paul here for a second. Where the hell does Rand Paul think he's going to pick up momentum? I honestly don't see it.
Isn't New Hampshire supposed to be that more libertarian,
live
free or die state?
Yeah.
But, Bernie Sanders is winning there, and Chris Christie and Kasich are doing well there, so I don't think they're living up to the motto.
No, they're not.
And we're going there next week. Maybe we can talk some sense into them.
Well, we'll see what we can do. We'll probably bring a baseball bat with us. But there's some New York values for you, which we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about that issue. I want to talk about that. But about Ted Cruz, I got a bone to pick with Teddy. But the issue here is this, ladies and gentlemen. When you look at Rand Paul and his campaign, him staying off the base stage tonight was not a good move. I think it's going to hurt him. He's going to fade away into obscurity. And the question is, X% of his supporters, where are they going to go? Who are they going to support? Are they going to support Ted Cruz? Are they going to support Donald Trump? Are they going to turn establishment? And are they going to vote Rubio? Are they going to vote Kasich? Where are these guys going to turn? The field narrows. It's like a soap opera. You know what I mean? This is like a soap opera right now.
You've been watching a little too much General Hospital.
It's like as the world turns, candidates begin to drop off the face of the earth. And now there are only 3 and 4, and whoever's left, God knows how many are left, but there's still a bunch up there. The point being, Lindsey drops out, Pataki's gone, Jindal's gone, the bottom tier's dropping out. Now what do? We're getting down to the crux. We're getting down to the real substance, the stuff that I want to hear. Tax plans, stuff like this, economic plans. how to deal with ISIS, how to deal with Islam, Muslims, and et cetera, et cetera. This is the stuff I want to talk about with these candidates. And it's going to be a heavy season, and a heavy season indeed. The question here is, Vito, where do we see Rand Paul picking up momentum, or is he the next to go? I think this hurt him, and he might be the next to go, and that's unfortunate because I really wanted to see Rand and Ted battle it out, or maybe team up or something, because those two guys are Tea Party favorites. And once you take Ted, Rand, and you can even throw Trump in there if you want, you take those three out. What's left on that stage? You take out Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, and if you want to put in there Donald Trump, what other anti-establishment figure is on that stage that is not establishment? Ben Carson? That's it? That's all we got. And that's debatable. So it's very important that we look at this issue. We feel sorry for Rand. I like him a lot. But I think he's the next to go. I think this debate performance thing that he did today, or lack of debate performance, is just going to hurt him. I think he'll be the next to go. It wasn't a good move on his part. But listen, Vito, I don't want to talk about guys that weren't at the debate. I want to talk about the guys and gal that was actually in the debate. And when we come back into the Vito and Vito show, more debate talk, New York values, and Goldman Sachs right here on the Vito and Vito show.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, Vito.
Hey, Vito.
There's a movement in healthcare today.
It's a movement of people that's ready to stand up and take charge of their healthcare.
It's people like you and me who are tired of paying too much for healthcare and getting too little.
People who are standing up for their values and letting their conscience make decisions based on timeless principles.
It's a movement that's sweeping the nation, and you need to be a part of it.
Liberty HealthShare is leading the movement of people who are looking for an alternative to traditional health insurance.
Liberty HealthShare is a healthcare sharing organization of people who are sharing the cost of healthcare in an easy and efficient way.
Choose your own doctor, your own hospital, and live out your values in healthcare.
Join the movement. Together, we're changing healthcare for good.
Go to www.joinlhs.com or call 800-722-8041. That's 800-722-8041.
And we're back. The Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow. Would you? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. And do us a favor. Go to the website again. www.vitoandvito.com. Past articles. Yeah, we write a little bit. Newest episodes. Our oldest episodes. The archives. What else we got on there, Vito?
Pictures?
Oh, yeah, we got some pictures on there. What else?
Got
a selfie with Rand Paul. That was pretty cool.
A couple selfies.
Yeah.
A couple pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Go there and find something and let us know what you find.
This thing's on our website. Oh, right, yeah. Network listing. That's important. We're on a bunch of different online stations and AM and FM stations in your area. Go to the website, would you? www.vitoandvito.com. Click on the network listings tabs. Find out where we are in your hometown or your home computer and give us a listen. And if you don't know where we are in terms of things like that, you can follow us on our Spreaker page and listen to all the shows. We're on iTunes and all these great other podcasting sites. Just search up the Vito and Vito Show. Vito!
And if you just can't wait until our next episode, go to On Demand on VitoandVito.com. You can listen to all the past episodes. Our greatest hits.
you don't think these people will get it if they go to the website?
I just want to make sure, because they might say, I don't really feel like going, but they say, if there's On Demand, I can listen to all the other episodes. I'm going to go there now.
What was the point of saying past episodes in the beginning of the segment?
I'm reiterating.
Why? These people don't have a problem.
Why? Because I didn't hear what you said before.
So maybe we should get your ears checked.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading the teleprompter. Maybe we should fix that first.
Would you leave the teleprompter alone?
No.
Barack needs it next week, all right? He's got a whole thing against guns he wants to talk about, so we got to...
Again? He doesn't need a teleprompter to tell him when to cry.
No. Oh. You still think he was acting?
And Michelle tells him when to cry.
Oh, Michelle whips him into crying. That's what it is.
Him or Joe, one of them.
Oh. We didn't get a chance to talk about the State of the Union.
That's true.
I know.
What's there to talk about?
The debate came up, and the debate has taken center stage at this point. But boy, oh boy, Vito, quick, what do you think of the State of the Union?
No, he's whining.
I cannot stand this president.
BS.
Here's a good transition. The president talked about how at the State of the Union, and it was a question posed to Ted Cruz in the beginning of the debate. They asked him, they said, hey, what do you think of the economy? According to Barack Obama, we have the best economy in the world. It's booming, and it's so strong, and it's the best ever. All the cool kids are trying it. Like, this is the best thing. The president... Yeah, something like that. The president was touting the State of the Union, or the economy during the State of the Union address, and it was just... I mean, you gotta be a schmuck to follow this guy and think this was the truth. If you look at the State of the Union, you would find, ladies and gentlemen, that this economy is horrible. The president was outright lying to you. He sat there and said this economy is booming, and right away, I think it was John Kasich even, that rhino, who made a good point. He said, hey, Wall Street is being propped up by the feds. Ted Cruz says millionaires and billionaires are doing great under Obama because they're all investing in assets that are high-priced and high and protected because of the federal government and the monetary system of easy money and cheap credit, inflating asset prices and just creating another bubble in the economy. So the president is really, he's sniffing or snorting, smoking something up in the White House, and he should really pay attention, Vito, because not for nothing, this economy is not doing so well, and I'm surprised that he's lying to the American people the way he has, and I'm glad a lot of the candidates were able to call that out tonight. That's something that I'm proud to see. But I want to talk about something here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go back to the Goldman Sachs issue. Here's a point that I want to bring up. Goldman Sachs, Ted Cruz, supposedly didn't disclose this information to the FEC.
The loan.
The loan, right. During his 2012 Senate campaign. He took out $1 million loan from Goldman Sachs and some other people, but mostly Goldman Sachs. And he didn't disclose this loan, according to a New York Times report that came out earlier in the week.
To the FEC.
To the FEC, the Federal Elections Committee.
But here's the thing. During the debate, Ted Cruz came out and said that he did disclose it publicly, but now with the FEC. So it's more like a paperwork mistake.
They said it was a filing error.
You see, the liberal media is going to have to go back to well if that's all they're going to run on with him. But
Are you quoting Ted Cruz and talking about Ted Cruz?
Yeah, I can't do that.
I don't think so.
He said it.
Yeah, but
I'm just reporting what he said.
But we're not reporters.
You know what, guy?
We're schmucks to sit behind the microphone and talk about politics.
Well, I don't know what to say. I'm going to quote him, okay? Because it's true. Ted Cruz is right. If this is the best you got, okay? Really?
Yeah, you got to do better than that. But let's just talk about this here, Vito, for a minute. Let's talk about this Ted Cruz issue, and I want to talk about the hypocrisy in the liberal media. They're going into Ted Cruz for taking out a loan, not a donation, a loan.
Oh, my God.
Big difference, number one. Number two, I want to clarify something. Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation have accepted money from Iran, from terror groups. There are reports circulating from Breitbart and Conservative Review. You can find them on our website, www.vitoandvito.com. I'll link the articles there. You can take a look. That Hillary Clinton is receiving money left and right from groups that are not so kind to America. The Clinton Foundation in particular. Number two, Hillary Clinton also gets checks from, let's not forget, the body-selling marketplace known as Planned Parenthood. Let's not forget who else gives Hillary Clinton money when it comes down to the billionaire, socialist, George Soros.
I think say Donald Trump.
Oh, someone's anti-Trump here, aren't you?
A little bit.
A little bit. I love or hate. I don't know. We'll talk about Trump just a second. Hold your horses, kid.
Wait, just a little bit. A little bit.
All right.
Just
Okay.
a little bit.
Just a little taste. So, I'm just talking about the liberal media hypocrisy. They're going to go after Ted Cruz on a filing error. They're going to go after Ted Cruz on a loan. There is no immorality here, but they will not go after Hillary Clinton when it comes down to where she gets her money from, and I find that to be ridiculous, Vito. I hate it when the liberal media does this. This bothers me. It bothers me because it goes to show you the bias in our media. In particular, the mainstream media.
Well, that's why they're the biased media, the mainstream media that nobody likes. This is what people are fed up on. You know? They blow up these things, say, oh, look what we got on Ted Cruz. They blow it up and leave out facts on purpose. This is probably illegal. But, Ted Cruz and most conservatives are smart enough to see past this, but they gotta shine a light and show people that this isn't true. And doesn't help when you got Donald Trump. This is why I have a problem with him. Is Donald Trump brings this up. Like one example is where Ted Cruz was born, like we were saying. Another thing is now with Goldman Sachs. This is not a donation. This is a loan. People have taken out loans. This is what banks do. This is not a donation, so this is not buying Ted Cruz.
Well, the question here is now, should Ted Cruz be investigated, something like that?
Well, sure, investigate him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair game.
Do what you
If
gotta do.
you violated a law, that's one thing, but, I mean, you gotta look at the morality of it. Did Ted Cruz, in any way, shape, or form, do something that was immoral? I mean, if he made a filing error or something like that, that's one thing. But let's remember, it was a loan from Goldman Sachs, from a bank, for Christ's sakes. It wasn't like the Clinton Foundation.
Well, it wasn't like he's hiding donations.
Right. I mean, like the Clinton Foundation, I wanted to clarify this right now. The Clinton Foundation supposedly was hiding the names of secret foreign donors who contributed $5.4 million in 2011 and 2012 to the Bill Clinton Foundation in Sweden. And these donors apparently were tied to Iran. So, I mean, you see stuff like, and this is from a Breitbart article. So when you see stuff like this, you gotta wonder what the hell's going on here. Some scary stuff in terms of Hillary Clinton and where all this stuff is happening. Clinton Foundation donor violated Iran sanctions. From the Daily Beast. I mean, you just type in Clinton Foundation donations, and the first thing you get is attacks against Hillary Clinton, or you get these bombshell reports. From a lot of it conservative media, by the way. Conservative Review I saw up here. You see Breitbart, and then you have the Daily Beast, which is not very conservative, but they're radical leftists who want Bernie Sanders anyway. So even the radical left is attacking Hillary because of where she's getting her money from. An Iranian businessman accused by the U.S. government of violating sanctions on Tehran donated money to the Clinton Foundation. And then if you can pronounce his name, God bless you. But yeah, that's basically the guy who was donating to Hillary Clinton. And he was donating from, an Iranian guy that should be investigated, stuff like that. He was violating Iranian sanctions. So we got problems here. Money is coming from enemies, and it's going to Hillary Clinton, and she's not being targeted by your mainstream media, your crazy radical leftist media who wants Bernie's going to target her because they don't like her as much as we do. And we here on the conservative side, the libertarian side, we don't like Hillary Clinton either, and we'll attack her.
She's getting flanked.
She's getting flanked from both sides. She's being protected by this big wall of CNN, NBC, ABC, and to an extent Fox. And don't forget the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times, blah, 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 blah.
The media.
The media. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And Ted Cruz being attacked because of this loan and a filing error he made back in 2012. Let the guy correct it. He said it was public.
Right,
if you need to investigate, of course investigate. I mean, the guy, if he broke the law, there's a problem. But is it really an attack on his character? Is he really trying to...
This isn't Bombshell.
What is he trying to undermine?
This isn't... This is oops. Investigate it. Nothing shade, nothing bad. All right. Sorry.
Right.
This isn't like taking money from like Iran and stuff like you were saying with Hillary. Or anything like that.
What I think is going to affect Cruz more, and I got to give him a slap for this because we're from New York, we're from Brooklyn, is this notion of the New York values. He attacked Trump a couple days ago on a radio show. He said that Donald Trump holds New York values. And then he turns around in the debate today and he expounds on that comment, And he says that Donald Trump holds New York values and how they run around and they most New Yorkers they're pro-abortionists, he says, and they're pro-big government and they're pro-socialism, and I'm like, then the zing out of Manhattan. I'm from Brooklyn, Ted. Maybe you're right. Not a lot of conservatives come out of Manhattan.
He is absolutely correct.
But there are two conservatives,
Vito and Vito,
who come out of Brooklyn, and I want that to be understood right now, along with a couple of others. But it's hard, baby. It's hard.
A handful we know.
A handful that we know, but it's tough. And I got to tell you, I see what Cruz was doing there. Obviously, is it a personal attack against New York? No. I love how in his response, Vito, he turns around and he says, oh, well, I didn't, I'm sure the people of New York State, and he smiled and grinsed in the crowd, sort of, they snickered, because he's talking about New York State. He's not talking about New York City. You see the difference?
Right, but he was going after the political views of New York, of New Yorkers, and the cronies that are Donald Trump's friends in Manhattan. The big guys that live on Park Avenue or work on Madison, these big cronies. And he's talking about the political views, how almost everybody and their mother are liberals, flaming socialists in Manhattan and New York City. How there are no Republicans, barely, let alone conservatives who support Ted. Right. I've met one other person, aside from Vito, one other person in my school who supports Ted Cruz.
By the way, you go to the same school that Bernie Sanders and the Reverend Al Sharpton have attended, known as Brooklyn College. So
yes,
Vito
and Barbara Boxer, James Franco.
Oh, there you go.
We have a great lineup.
Yeah, you're receiving a renowned education.
Absolutely.
From Brooklyn College, home of the liberal elitist.
I'm the one conservative and they hate me. Okay, so nobody supports Ted Cruz in New York City.
I feel bad for you. You're like the one kid that sits at the lunch table alone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're like that kid
I thought I was a loser in high school.
Yeah. Well...
Now it's bad.
You thought you were a loser in high school?
Yeah, great, thanks. You're my only friend. You're my mom.
And my stuffed animal.
My imaginary friend.
Your imaginary
It went from bad to worse from high school to college because of my political views. We're like, oh, look, there's a conservative. Like, what? Aren't you supposed to go over that after the email kid in the corner who might show up to school? No, they go after the conservative. Great. I love it. But you stand strong in principle, right, Vito?
Yeah, well, I try.
What are you saying? Ted Cruz. New Yorkers don't like him. Most New Yorkers. He said he's right. Most New Yorkers are liberal. Yeah. Most, saying few, are conservative, which he's right about. So please trust me. A few New Yorkers are going to get upset with Ted Cruz. They already don't like Ted Cruz, so he's not going to hurt him. If anything's going to help him over in Iowa and the Midwest, and say, yeah, we have family values. We're not like New Yorkers. All right, we don't walk around saying forget about threatening to kill people. I think I just threatened to throw somebody in the back of my trunk on Twitter before. But I
gotta say, when you look at Donald Trump's response, I thought that was an elegant response. I mean, when he says, "What about when I look at New York values, I think of the workers out there on 9/11. I think of the guys down by the rubble."
No.
Really?
No, I don't like the response.
Why not?
'Cause he went straight to, because he took it out of reference. It's not what Cruz was talking about, and he pulled on the heartstrings. He said, no, when I think of value, New York values is compassionate. We come together after 9/11. Anytime you bring up 9/11, it's such an easy spot to bring up because everybody's sympathetic, of course. But that's not what Cruz was talking about. Of course, Cruz would agree how we came together, no matter what tragedy.
Well,
he's talking about the political views. He's talking about the political liberal views of New Yorkers and the cronies that support Trump. Nothing to do with 9/11 or tragedies or the compassion of New Yorkers. Even though we're probably not compassionate to one another, because I get flipped off daily.
You see, but this is where I'm struggling with this comment. I mean, you take a look at something what Ted Cruz said about New York values, and then he goes around when he's asked, "Can you explain New York values?" And he turns around. Maybe it's because we're from here and or at least I take it a little bit more offensively. I mean, at the end of the day, I can care less. I still love him, and I still want him to be the president. But when you turn around and Ted Cruz was asked this question and was asked yesterday, well, I shouldn't say yesterday, but earlier in the week on the Kelly file, Megyn Kelly asked him, "Can you explain what you mean by New York values?" And then today, during the debate, because we're recording the show here about the debate, you're listening to the recap.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear what Ted had to say in trying to explain what he meant by New York values, it was, he gave the same answer. He said, oh, well, the Iowa values and New Hampshire values are different than New York values.
They are.
I mean, wait a second, Vito. At the end of the day, when you throw a comment out like that, you say they're completely different, but before you just said that New Hampshire is becoming radically socialist. For Christ's sakes, Bernie Sanders is doing a lot better. So, I mean, honestly, I think there's a problem there. I think
not as a whole. He's polling higher than Hillary right now, but how many people are surveyed? And New York City is known for being a bastion of liberal. It's a liberal hellhole. People know New York City and California are disgusting.
Now, you see, but I don't like how you say New York values, and then he snickered.
He meant political values.
I know what he meant, but he could have said, I don't like New York political values. That would have been better. Because when you're talking values, we're talking about values that people hold in New York. Are you attacking the toughness of New York? Are you attacking the family values of New York? Yeah, we got a different style of living up here, and everybody loves to come here. So don't attack New York and say that we're bad. I think Donald Trump had the right response, because Trump said, I'm not going to sit here and let you talk bad about New York. I made my living there. I made my fortune there. I made my company there. I hired lots of people there, and I live there. Plus, I was there on 9/11. I saw the resilience in these people's eyes, and it didn't matter the politics of the situation. I fought hard. I helped these people.
Right, but you don't have to bring up 9/11. You don't have to bring that up, because Cruz wasn't talking about that. He wasn't questioning that. He's talking about the values of, one, again, political values, and also compare someone from Iowa to New York City. Somebody like Trump, you can't compare to somebody in the Midwest. The New York overall values. So what does a Midwestern, somebody from the South, think of when they think of a New Yorker? Not the same they think of somebody from Texas or Iowa. That's what Cruz is trying to pull on to help get him the support in Iowa that he needs. He doesn't, honestly, he's smart, because it doesn't matter who he insults in New York. He's not getting the votes. Okay? He's like, oh, now I don't like him. I'm not going to vote for him because he insulted my home city. No, I get where he's coming from. Don't New York is a rough skin. Listen, don't take it so personally. Relax, okay? Not that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to hurt him. If anything, it's going to help him.
Yeah. Just leave New York out of it, will you?
Forget about it.
And then he made fun of Sinatra. No one makes fun of. He said, oh, well, Donald Trump should play, instead of playing Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen at his campaign rallies, he should play New York, New York. Let me tell you something, Ted. You leave Frank out of this. Sinatra will break your leg, throw you in the back of a Jeep, and you'll never see the light of day again.
Yeah, it did at JFK.
Okay. Oh, you think Sinatra killed JFK?
I think the mob did.
Oh, you think the mob did?
Yeah, absolutely.
There are no links that Sinatra was ever tied with the mob. We will have a further debate on this, but we're going to break. When we return here to the Vito and Vito show, that's right, we're doing some, what do you call those things?
Forget about it?
No, forget about it moments of the week, but let's also not forget that we're going to do some other things like...
Rating the candidates.
Rating the candidates. That's why you're here, the Vito show, when we return.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
So what is behind enemy lines anyway?
This is the true story of two friends living in the People's Republic of New York City who work together and have their conversations taped to find out what happens when conservatives stop being politically correct and start getting real. We are Behind Enemy Lines. Watch your wallets. Thursdays at 1 on WNJC, part of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network.
www.vitoandvito.com. The boys from Brooklyn bringing you conservative libertarian perspectives out of the college minds that we are. Yeah, we're college students.
You calling a boy?
You. Boy. New York values here in the Vito and Vito show. That's right. We hold no punches. Political correctness out the window right here. Vito and Vito. Give us a follow at Vito and Vito Show. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And like we said, go to the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Past articles, network listings, and old episodes right here. The Vito and Vito Show. Vito, it's the time of the weekend. That time of the week again. It's forget about it. Moment. of the week.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Paul, forget about it.
That's right. Forget about it. Moments of the week. It's when we break down some of the craziest moments during this past week. And in Brooklyn, a term for, oh my God, that really happened? Get out of here. Is forget about it. You heard it. Or for Donnie Brasco. What was the first time you heard forget about it, Vito?
My dad was yelling at me because I broke something in the house when I was 2 years old. Then he took out the belt and my mom threw a shoe at me. It was a mess. It was just bad times.
I know. You grew up in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah, Bensonhurst.
For those of you who don't know, Bensonhurst is where they filmed Saturday Night Live, the film with John Travolta, and yes,
it's that very Italian neighborhood in Brooklyn that everybody knows.
All right, Vito, what's our first forget about it moment of the week?
Ready?
No.
Can you believe this?
No.
Bernie Sanders
no.
is a hit with millennium women.
Really?
50 to 31% over Hillary, the feminist icon. The socialist taking more young girls.
Socialism is attractive, baby.
Yeah,
first of all,
let's Jewish man.
Let's get one thing straight. And I'm the first one to argue that conservative, libertarian women are way hotter than liberal women.
Without a doubt.
But at the same time,
that blue hair
the freaky deekies, if you're into that, like Rick James type of stuff, is over in the liberal camp. And the more liberal you get, the more socialist you get. The more socialist you get, the more crazy women are going to come flocking to you. And that's when you get the radical feminists with the pink, blue, orange hair all combined into one. You get the transvestites, you get the David Bowies, who, by the way, rest in peace, David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
Big fans of David here on the show, Vito. Ziggy died. I felt terrible. Like I lost a piece of me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, you get those type of people over there. You get the artsy people who are down to do pretty much anything. Snort blow off your ass.
Right,
and all
but
that.
what I found, you see, you need a conservative woman in the street, but a liberal in bed. That's what I learned.
From what? Vito, you're a virgin. What are we talking about here? Please. Come on, what's the problem? Let's be honest. It's only radio.
Yes.
I want to talk about this here for a second. So Hillary. So you're a virgin. No, so.
How's it feel?
How embarrassing. That's terrible.
Isn't that terrible? Tell the millions of Americans listening to you right now.
How does it feel to be playing with yourself? But no, so millennial women like Bernie Sanders more than Hillary Clinton.
My parents are texting me, guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, at least somebody loves you.
She said, "Oh my God, see, love me, yeah, please." Yes, I'm an innocent person. I'm an innocent boy, Mom. Are we going to a strip club after this recording?
All right, Vito, what's the second forget about it moment of the week?
The United States has asked the United Nations to screen the refugees coming in from Central America for them.
The United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same organization. By the way, who dropped the ball when it came down to Rwanda, who dropped the ball when it came down to Afghanistan, they dropped the ball almost everywhere. The same organization, by the way, that wants to confiscate all your guns. The same organization, by the way, that basically wants to establish a sort of one world government where you have a
United Nations.
A United Nations. The same government that on the anti-terrorism committee sits Syria, Iran, like most of the terrorist nations. And the same organization that attacks Israel more than it does Hamas in Pakistan and Iran.
Recognizes Palestine.
Yeah, recognizes Palestine. Thank you very much. So we're going to count on them to screen the Syrian refugees.
Good job.
This is the United States doing this.
Mm-hmm.
This is President Barack Obama. I'm sure he made an executive order for this too.
Whatever he wants. Literally.
Whatever you want. Yes. Mr. President, take
Vito.
it. Just take it all. Take Vito's virginity while you're at it. Go ahead, Vito. What's our list? Forget about a moment.
Calabasas, California.
Ah.
The school board, they're giving out a new all-vegan lunch schedule.
Oh, Jesus.
All vegan.
Come on. That's stupid.
It's disgusting.
That is disgusting. You ever had an all-vegan diet? It's no animals, by the way. Vegan, no animals.
No meat.
Good job, Vito.
You can't live without meat.
I'm sorry?
You can't live without meat, right?
You better control yourself there, Vito.
Oh, sorry.
I
don't know what you're talking about.
You got the wrong Vito for talking about living without meat, but that's pretty, well, wait a second. So that means no hamburgers?
Nope.
No hot dogs? No filet mignon.
No way.
No surf and turf.
Fish is alright, right? I think.
No, fish is animal.
No.
Vegan is no animal. Fish is an animal.
So, oops. No chicken?
Cat? No chicken, no cat, no. This ain't your local Chinese restaurant.
I was going to talk about McDonald's, but you can insult the Chinese while you're at it.
It's alright.
It's
And
all right.
Chinese, we love everybody here. We just like a little
Of
Don
course.
Rickles comedy. We pick on everybody. Alright, Vito, let's grade these people. Would you? We're trying to wrap up the show. People got to go places. And I know there's a stripper waiting for me named Claudette.
Peaches.
And
Claudette Peaches. Great.
What do we got, Vito? Break down these candidates for us, and I'll give her, we'll give the grades.
Donald J. Trump.
Got to give Donald an A-. I thought he did pretty good tonight, especially the talk on China. People were agreeing with him on the stage. You had talk when it came down to the economy, and you had talk when it came down to this argument with Ted Cruz. I thought it was a pretty good argument. I don't agree with him, but I thought it was a pretty good argument. What do you give to Donald? A- for me.
I'll agree and give him an A-. Second place, I don't think he did too shabby. The only thing is calling out Cruz on the where he's born. We went over that early in the show. I didn't really agree with the premise. He shouldn't have went on with it. That's the point.
All right.
Ted Cruz, Vito, what do you think?
Oh, I give him an A. A+, or, the highest grade you can give him. I thought he did great. I thought he had zingers, like one-liners against Cruz. He asked him to be Trump. He asked Trump to be his vice president. I like that. I like his responses to the questions. I like how he went up against Marco Rubio when it came down to his tax plan. I like how he went up against Marco Rubio when it came down to immigration. Marco Rubio trying to blast Ted Cruz as someone who is, pro-amnesty. Of course he's not. Keep one thing in mind. Marco Rubio is pro-amnesty. Remember the Gang of 8 bill? All right, so let's get one thing straight and one thing clear. Ted Cruz trying to reiterate his position. I thought he came across articulate. I thought he came across persuasive. Ted Cruz gets an A in my book. Love him.
Give him an A+. He won this debate. I mean, we spoke about it most of the time, the show. So, I think he did pretty well.
And I thought he was a star here.
George W. Bush's brother.
Oh, Jeb?
Yeah, that guy.
Jeb, explanation point. Oh, I give him, I'll give him a C. Where was he? Where was Jeb's moment? Does he have a moment? Is there any moment left for Jeb, ladies and gentlemen? Nothing there shocked me with Jeb Bush. He came in, he said, we got to work together. I remember he interjected when he shouldn't have, and,
He's like Obama's State of the Union speech.
Yeah, he's just boring. He's low energy. Blah. He's like a machine. I don't like him. And I'm happy that he's falling in the polls. It goes to show you the power of the grassroots.
Yeah, he's only at the end of the... See, I thought he was going to fall off the stage. That's why I give him a D+.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, I know. Look, he's passed.
Ooh. You call that passing? What else you got?
Yeah. Kasich.
I'll give him a D. I'll tell you why. Instead of normally giving Kasich an F, which I normally do, and it's not the, F for failure, it's an F for something else, you can figure it out. But I would give him a D because I think he brought up a good point when he talked about asset prices and the Fed, and he talked about their easy money policy very early on in the debate. So good job, Kasich, on that regard. Everything else, you're a rhino, and I can't stand you.
Great, I give him a D-. That's the only thing that kept him above water. Exactly what he said.
About the Fed.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
That's it. Mm-hmm. The one kind of conservative thing he ever came out of his mouth. All right.
Next.
Chris Christie.
Christie did pretty good. I thought his attacks against the defense against Rubio was pretty good. Rubio kept blasting him for Common Core and stuff like that. But Christie, he did end Common Core in New Jersey. He ended it, however, right when he was running for president. When he started running for president. So it's not like this was the main thing on his agenda. He has a very iffy gun record. Christie's got it. He's not a conservative. He's a moderate rhino. Plus, he hugged Obama. So I got to give Christie a. I'll give him a C+. I thought his responses were good when he went back and forth with Rubio, but at the end of the day, is it something to propel him to the top? No, his debate performance was subpar.
I give him a C-. This guy is annoying at this point. Constantly talking into the camera, saying, let's get back to the topics and what really matters for the average American. I'm looking into the camera. I'm looking into his eyes right now.
Don't forget the governor versus senator thing.
Right, oh, yeah.
Everything is governor versus senator. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
To the floor of the Senate. Oh, I have to interrupt.
It's annoying. We got nowhere since he started the debate. The debates a couple months ago. Same old crap from Chris Christie.
Yeah, it's the same old crap. But he's doing pretty good in New Hampshire, and that might be his thing. That might be his ticket if he performs well. What else you got?
Dr. Ben Carson.
I think the doctor did pretty well. I like the little line that he gave when he talked about how, I believe my name was mentioned early on. I think it was Ted and Trump. I can't remember. Two candidates were going back and forth, and then Jeb Bush interjected and said, we got to work together. And then Ben Carson's like, I believe my name was mentioned. The moderators were like, wait, what are you talking about? And that's when Ben Carson's like, well, he did say everyone. And he gave something there. So it was pretty good. If you watch the debate, you know what I'm talking about. Ben Carson, I'll give him a B. But not, nothing crazy, nothing great. But I thought he hit on the Christian conservative point, and that was pretty good.
I'll give him B-. Nothing special. The same old from Ben Carson. I think to get him to the A, the B+, you got to have a moment. You got to have something that sticks out. And I don't think I really saw it this time. Marco Rubio.
Oh, I can't stand him. He keeps repeating himself. I don't like him. I'm going to give him a... But in terms of performance, people love him, and I think that resonates with some rhinos. He's a new establishment guy. B-.
I'll agree. The B-. That's a solid grade. Same old, the same speech and same everything for Rubio.
All right, that about wraps it up here in the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow at Vito and Vito Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, you were listening to the Vito and Vito Show in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.